Hello viewers, and welcome to this train simulator video. In this video we're going to take a first look at the Class 153. Now I did drive this in my previous train sim video, but I didn't actually do a review of it, just did some commentary. So this is a very old add-on from Just Trains. I think it came out in 2011, 2012. So well over 10 years old now, and basically I'm going to do a review of it. So we're on the Bristol and Avonmouth route from Just Trains, which is a pretty nice route. You can see a lot of detail. I think this is also a pretty old route as well. I bought this off eBay as a disc download, so it's probably at least 10 years old. So we're just doing a 30-minute scenario here. So this is the first service to Portishead. Take the first passenger train to Portishead along the newly reopened line. So we're going to pick up passengers. So we're at Bristol Temple Meads at the moment. We're going to be picking up passengers, stopping at Bedminster, Parsons Street, Pill Platform and Portishead, which is 11 miles. So it's not a very long run. So we'll just get in the Class 153 and get it set up. In my last video without commentary, I forgot to put the key in, so and I couldn't go anywhere, so I've got to remember to do that. So it's pretty easy to set up. So put it into forward, just hold down the W key, press Q to reset the AWS, and then in here we can turn on the cab light. We don't need that. We also got a heater as well. I'm going to press the speed up. I'm not sure what that does. We also have a NRN radio test.
Welcome to the remote radio test unit. Please leave your message after the tone.
Switch the headlights on.
This is an NRN radio test call.
Switch the destination line as well. Let's just check. I'll just check which key is for the destination. I think it's F8, so we are going to Portishead, so let's just I can't scroll the destination line, so headlights are on. We'll set them to the day. It's automatically put the tail lights on for the rear coach. And that's the DSD going off. So now there's really nothing else we need to do. There's also a gearbox on train. I haven't tried pressing that. I'm not sure what that does. You can see it's a pretty constricted cab in the 153. It's not a very big cab at all. And if we go to the rear, you can see that the rear cab is even shorter. As you can see, there's very little space in that cab. You can see the chairs are rammed up right against the desk there. That cab has the other cab has a little bit more space, but still not much. So let's open the doors. We're driving this in the original First Great Western livery. I don't think there might be a GWR reskin, as it is GWR now, but if there is, I haven't seen it. But yeah, this is a pretty nice livery. You can see it's got all the places you can visit. It's similar livery to the First Great Western 143, where it's got all the places. So I quite like this livery. I kind of miss it. It's an awesome livery. It looks good on the HST, the 166. We'll get a buzzer in a minute. There we go. So press the signal button. Release the brakes, apply power, and let's go. Unfortunately, the sounds aren't the best on this, especially from the exterior view. It sounds as though it's like you're driving an old car that's stuck in first gear. It doesn't sound great at all, really. Now, Armstrong Powerhouse did release a sound pack for this a few years ago, But the annoying thing is, oh god, that was a tight curve. I'm not sure that should have been 25. Wow. Armstrong Powerhouse did release a sound pack for this a few years ago, but annoyingly, they've took it off sale. So if you buy this now, as I did, you're stuck with the default sounds. There is a video on YouTube comparing the original sounds with the enhanced sounds, and the enhanced sounds do sound a lot more realistic. I do like these units though. It's still a nice fun train to drive. I like the novelty of it only being a single carriage. It's just the same about the sound. It's a detailed model. The cab's detailed. You also have a passenger view as well. Let's apply a little bit more power here. It's just a shame about the mediocre sounds. I don't know why Dovetail took the sound pack off sale. It was an awesome sound pack. It was called the Class 150/153/156 sound pack. So it wasn't only a sound pack for the 153. You've also got sounds for the UVE Class 150 and 156 as well. So it enhanced the sounds on all those three trains, I believe. But it's no longer available. You have a sound pack for the 150 on Steam, which sounds absolutely... if you ever bought the Class 150 on Steam, it sounds absolutely awful. I haven't bought it, but I watched a video of Anders Thompson demonstrating the sounds on it, and it does sound really bad. They basically took the sounds from the Class 158s, which doesn't sound great. But in a way, it sounds even worse, and the acceleration is totally off as well. Brakes aren't the best on this unit, so you do have to be careful when stopping at stations. HST there, Class 47, so plenty of AI traffic on this scenario, which is nice. It makes the routes, come to life. Feels like you're actually driving on it rather than just driving on an empty map, which feels lifeless. I'll just show you quickly round the Class 153. So you've got a couple of few tables there. This is the toilet bit where the windows are blanked out. And that's these were originally 2-car units, which is why you'll see that one end of the driver's cab is much smaller than the other. Now, if you won't notice any difference if I use the in-cab view, and that's because in Train Simulator, That's because in Train Simulator you can't have two different cabs, or at least at the time that this was made, you can't have two different cabs. It's a shame the destination board is showing the wrong thing, because we're not going to Banbury, we're going to Portishead, so yeah, that's a bit of a shame. But it's a nicely detailed model. You can see it even has the spec on here, so weight 41 tons, length 23 metres, width 2.7 metres, 75 seats, so it's well detailed. It's just the sounds that let it down. And Armstrong Powerhouse had a sound pack for this, but full power, but unfortunately they took it off sale for some reason. I don't know why. I emailed them about it, but they just said it wasn't on sale anymore, so there's nothing I can do. I've looked on the internet, I've looked on Google for websites hosting the sound pack, and I can't find it anywhere, so it's a real shame, because yeah, these sounds from the inside they're not great, but they're okay, but from the outside they're really not good at all. making now for Parsons Street. It's a shame because it's a nice little train to drive, apart from the sounds, which the Armstrong Powerhouse sounds so much better. But you can't get the sound pack anymore, so this video is going to be with me a bit of a rant about the sounds. Yeah, I mean this train does need updating anyway, but yeah, if it had the sound pack, if Just Trains released this train today, let's say, with the Armstrong Powerhouse sound pack, then I would think that this was a new train, because the quality of the model is there. It's detailed, both exterior, passenger view, and, you know, and in the cab. It's just the sounds which are lacking, but which the Armstrong Powerhouse fixed. So that's a really annoying thing. And also I have the UVE Class 156 as well. Not the Armstrong Powerhouse version, which sounds a lot better, but the UVE Class 156, which if I had the sound pack for, if Armstrong Powerhouse still had the sound pack, I could have applied sounds not just to the 153 but also the 156. So DSD going off, so just press Q to cancel that. I'll just show you the engine stopping and starting. So that's quite a good, you know, realistic engine start and stop noise. So the next stop is Pill. Okay, weird place name. It's probably not pronounced like that, but got a 25 limit coming up, and then the 30. Going over points, that's why. So just keep the speed down. Having complaining about the sounds, it does sound quite good. You can hear the clickety-clack as we go over points, and which sounds good. You can hear little squeaks in the background. You know, it's not all bad. It's just mainly the engine sounds which aren't the best, especially from the exterior view, which is just a shame. It really is a shame, because Armstrong Powerhouse had that sound pack, but which completely revolutionised the sound on this, but you just can't download it anymore. So yeah, when I bought this, I thought, I knew that Armstrong Powerhouse no longer had the sounds for this model, and I thought maybe that's because Just Trains had decided to include the sound pack in their model, but no, I found out this wasn't the case. Still using the original sounds from 2012. It does say on the webpage, though, it has realistic sounds recorded from the driver's cab, but you know, I've watched videos of the Class 153. I went on one a few years ago, and yeah, they don't sound like this. They definitely do not sound like that. Not at all. So, yeah. I don't think they did record the sounds from the driver's cab, otherwise they wouldn't have got this. I'll just show you the horn. So you get a nice two-tone horn by pressing B in the space bar. So B for the low tone, and space for the high tones. So the horn doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, this is really detailed for, you know, a train that came out in 2012, really well modelled, really well detailed. If Just Trains released this today, with the Armstrong Powerhouse sounds, then I would think this was a new train. I wouldn't think this was a train from 2012. You know, a lot of the trains from 2012 in this game. They don't. Most of the buttons on the cab don't work. On this model, pretty much every button works. Even things like the fire system delay, you know, gearbox fault. Even things like that that you wouldn't normally press. I mean, even these switches work. So the TPWS switch, that's for the, you know, AWS. You can turn that on and off, and you can even open the windows as well, which is really revolutionary for a train that came out in 2012. You can't turn on and off the saloon lights, but you know, that's no big deal. It's a really scenic route as well. This is an old route, probably came out about 10 years ago by Just Trains, but it really is a good one. And you know, they're still making great routes today on Just Trains. Yeah. It's a bit of history about these units. These originally started their life off as Class 155 units, which were 2-car sprinter units made around sort of 1987, late 1980s, that sort of time. And they, yeah, and then in the early 90s they were converted into single car units. Not all of them. There are still some double Class 155s about, but yeah, a lot of them got converted into single car units and renamed as the Class 153, and that's the reason why one end of the cab is narrower than the other, because the narrower ends, they had to basically, when they converted them into single car, obviously one end didn't have a driver's cab, so they had to fit one in. You had to squeeze one in into the tiny little space. So yeah, it must be very claustrophobic. You know, having to sit in that end of the cab. So yeah, any drivers with claustrophobia definitely don't want to be driving a Class 153. 153. That's for sure. It does look good though. Look at the scenery, it's beautiful. This is a really old route as well. Got the lake there. Nice little 153. These are really ideal for, you know, quiet rural routes that have low speed limits. This unit can go to 75 miles an hour, although it will take a while to get there. It's not exactly the fastest train in the world, but it's quite difficult to keep at 30 on this unit. You've got to sort of go between notches, so which is a bit of a pain. Take a couple more screenshots. Sit in the passenger view for a bit as well. Yeah, I've been on these. Well, I haven't been on one for a few years. I think the last time I went on a 153 was when I went to Paynton back in 2017. When I was returning, went from Paynton to Newton Abbot on a 153. It was attached to some other train. I can't remember which one it was. On the way down, I went on the pace of the Class 143, which is sadly no longer in operation. And a lot of operators are getting rid of the 153s now. Both First Great Western, now GWR, and East Midlands trains have got rid of the 153s apparently. And yeah, a lot of operators are getting rid of them, but not all of them. Northern Rail still have a few 153s, although they're not, due to them not being compliant with the new disability legislation, they have to be connected to another sprinter unit, such as the 150 or the 156, for example. So they're just used like with Northern for, like, you know, extra capacity. They do have a door at each end, so that means when connected, they can actually open up the door. So it's not, this 153 isn't isolated between from the other train it's connected to. You can have like the passengers and the guard can walk through. So that means when the 153 is connected to another train, it means that you don't need two guards to operate the doors. You can just have one guard walk between the units, which is really cool. Really narrow tunnel. I think if this train was any wider, then it wouldn't fit. So it's quite a narrow looking train, so maybe that's why they have the 153. It is quite a quiet route as well. It's a lovely sunny spring morning. The trees aren't in leaf yet, but it's probably one of those spring days where it starts off a bit chilly and then it gets nice and warm by the mid-afternoon. Definitely looking forward to spring because I'm recording this, it's the middle of winter, it's lashing it down outside and it's 4 o'clock and it's going dark, so yeah, definitely looking forward to spring. So yeah, I've watched videos of these units. I've been on them in real life, not very often, but only a few times because they don't run on my local line. And yeah, they don't sound like this. They're very loud. I quite like them. They sound really cool when the driver goes when the power's in idle and the driver puts it straight into full throttle. It's yeah, look at videos of class 153s. I still like the pace the best. You know, the pace is awesome. That's my favourite train of all time. But this is probably my second favourite DMU after the Pacer. You know, the engine on the Pacer sounds awesome. Nothing can ever beat that. Nothing will probably ever will beat that for me. But the 153 does sound pretty good as well. Going back to operators of these 153s, ScotRail have done something interesting. They've turned their 153 into a bike train. So most of the 153 is now bike space, and they run these services on their West Highland lines, so connected to another Sprinter unit. So the 153, if you're travelling with ScotRail, has plenty of bike space. You are supposed to reserve bike space before boarding, but there's also a few seats as well, so you can sit in the bike carriage as well. But it is mainly bike space now. About half of it is bike space. I've seen the video, so that's pretty cool because a lot of people must use the train, take bikes on the train because it's a scenic route, and a lot of people must use the route to go cycling. So another operator that uses the 153s is Transport for Wales, and they've actually refurbished their 153s, so they can run on their own. They don't have to be connected to another Sprinter unit. They can run on their own. So that's good. I've watched Dylan's a video from Dylan's trip reports. That's just my clock chiming in the background. He travelled for 4 hours on a Class 153 on the Heart of Wales line between, I think it was Newport and Shrewsbury, I think that line's in Train Simulator as well, so forget that line, I might be able to travel on the 153 on 4 hours. I might be able to do a long trip on it, so that would be pretty cool. So yeah, the Transport for Wales livery, it's a pretty boring livery. It's basically white plain white livery with a bit of red on it, say Transport for Wales. It's not a very exciting livery. I much prefer the old Arriva Trains Wales livery, but yeah, that livery is no longer Arriva that run the line now. It's returned to government run line. So yeah, we're coming into Pill platform now. A really tight curve as we come in. I'm not sure it should be 30 coming in here, more like 15 would be more appropriate, I would think. So yeah, check out that video from Dylan's Trip Reports. It's the Heart of Wales line, class 153. Hopefully, yeah, I thought I might have stopped too far down, but no, I haven't, thank goodness. Just get another screenshot of this. So yeah, as I was saying, Transport for Wales can run these units. They've refurbished them so they include a disabled toilet, which does reduce the space on an already small train. But on the video that Dylan did of the Heart of Wales line, hardly anyone was travelling on the train anyway, so I'm not surprised they used a little 153 on such a quiet route. Yeah, I would like to go on a 153 again sometime. What gets me is, though, Northern are allowed to run the 153s, even though they don't comply with the disability regulations, as long as they're connected to another Sprinter train, which is PRM compliant. Right? Northern could have kept the Pacers, couldn't they? You know, they could have kept the Pacers, and as long as they were connected to another Sprinter unit, they could have kept using them. So, well, I don't know why they needed to get rid of them. I know they were very unpopular with a lot of people, but I really like them, and I know a lot of rail enthusiasts like them. A channel I watch called Sims and Stuff on YouTube, he loves the Pacer, and he actually did a couple of 8-hour trips in a Pacer on Train Sim World, going from one trip was from Penzance to Paddington, and the other one was from London to Edinburgh. It's pretty crazy, so check that out on YouTube. He spends 8 hours driving on a Pacer, the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 142, which is an awesome unit. It sounds a lot better than this. I still like driving this though. It's an awesome little train. It would be fun to do a long route in this as well. Can you imagine doing Penzance to Paddington in a Pacer? I mean, in a 153. That would be quite funny to do. That would be fun to do. So our next and final stop is Portishead in 2.4 miles. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, if Northern can keep their 153s running, if Northern are allowed to run their 153s connected to another Sprinter unit, even though they don't comply with the disability regulations, then why couldn't Northern have kept their 142s and 144s? You know, all they need to do is connect them to another Sprinter unit, which was typically a 150. And you know, even though they're unpopular, they would help to keep overcrowding down. You know, they would help with overcrowding, and weirdos like me who like Pacers would still get to go on them. So yeah, I don't know why they needed to get rid of them and they replaced them with the crappy 195s with the stupid ironing board seats. I went on a 195 in August for the first time, and I wasn't impressed. The seats, these look like ironing boards. They're not very comfortable. I much prefer the seats on a pacer, to be honest. They seem more comfortable. A lot of people find pacers really uncomfortable, but I never did. I found them fine, you know. But each to their own, I guess. Let's just get another screenshot of this. Or of course they could even refurbish the pacers, which would have been even better. They could have had a disabled toilet. I know it's difficult with the step up. A little bit of speeding there. That looks like an abandoned station there or something. Or maybe it's just a house on a little raised platform. I don't know. Could have been a little halt at one time. Back in the days of steam, maybe. Little tip-up seat there for the guard. Yeah, nice little cosy cab for the driver to sit in. I think I'd enjoy driving this in real life, especially on a route with stunning scenery. I just feel a bit silly though, doing 30 miles an hour on, you know, a straight bit of track. So many routes in this game are like that though. You get some routes. Okay, but got to be worried then, that signal appeared to be red. You get some routes where it's just really straight track, but you get really low speed limits. And then you get other routes where you get some really tight bends, but it's high speed limits. I'm thinking like the West Coast Main Line North between Carlisle and Glasgow. That has some really tight bends, but it's the speed limit's like 110 miles an hour. But then you get other routes, like I think it's the Midland Main Line for just trains. There's a section of that where it's only 50 miles an hour. It's just long, just miles of just long straight track with no bends or anything. So it is strange how that works out. I mean, I don't know a lot about, you know, why track is certain speeds, but I know a lot of it is down to the, you know, how sharp the curves are, because trains can't go round bends too quickly in case they derail. And also it's not comfortable for the passengers as well, getting pushed to one side. Look at a 5 limit coming up as we go into Portishead, so we're starting with power now. That'll be our final stop for this journey. Just a nice little 30-minute scenario. I love taking screenshots in this game in case you haven't noticed. Just do a bit of step-free full service braking just so you can hear the awesome brake sounds. They've got some sounds right though, like the braking sounds, you know, the rubbing sounds that you get on Sprinter units. They're very realistic. I find 5 mile an hour speed limits quite comical because you could almost walk faster. So yeah. Tiny bit of power. Sounds quite nice when it's idling. So yeah, if anyone does have the sound pack for this, then would you please consider sharing it with me so that I can use it, because I really would like to get the sound pack from this, and this is the only way. You know, I would like to do it legitimately by the sound pack, but you know, I can't. So the only way I'm going to get the sounds for this is if someone buys the, you know, shares the who has the enhancement pack for this, shares it with me. So maybe you could put it up on a peer-to-peer website such as Pirate Bay or Mediafire or something like that, and let me me and other people who haven't got the sounds for this have it. See, the door closing animations are pretty good. So yeah, there we go. Oh, apparently I passed a signal at danger once. I don't remember that. You know, travelled 11 miles in 40 minutes, so not the most rapid of journeys, but it was enjoyable. This was the Bristol and Avonmouth route from Just Trains. You can get it from Just Trains website. Alternatively, if you want to get it cheaper, just look for a the DVD version on eBay, which you get in a physical case. I do like to buy. I have bought a lot of the Just Trains add-ons that way, because it was back, you know, when they first started putting out routes for the first few years. They did put them on disc, and I don't know about you, but I like having the routes on a disc, because it's just, I don't know, it feels like you actually own it rather than just downloading it. You can get the 153 on a disc as well. It's $10.99 from Just Trains website. If you get it on eBay on a disc, it might be a bit cheaper. You also get the manual if you buy the disc version as well. You get the manual if you download it, but you know, it's on screen in a PDF format, so it's not the same. Whereas if you buy the disc version, you do get a proper manual, proper paper manual, which I do like to read those. So game manuals. So yeah. I bought the 153 as a digital download, but the Bristol and Avonmouth I bought off eBay as a disc download. And despite it being made about 10 years ago, they still work on modern versions of Train Sim. Most of the time anyway. There might be a few scenarios that don't work, but yeah, for the most part it's good. So yeah, if you want to get this route, Just Trains website, I'll put the link down in the description below. I'll also provide a link to where you can get this train as well, the Just Trains 153. And yeah, you can also buy the discs versions from eBay, which you should be able to get a little bit cheaper than what you pay on the Just Trains website if you'd rather do it that way. And you have a computer with that has a CD DVD drive, because not all computers do have those these days, because a lot of people don't bother using them. So anyway, that's enough rambling on from me. I really enjoyed that route. Would love to get the sound pack for this train, but I don't think I ever will be able to now, unless maybe one day Armstrong Powerhouse will come out with a new train or something. But yeah. Until then, I guess I'll just be driving Just Trains Class 153. But yeah, that's yeah, it was an enjoyable run, lovely route, lovely train, and yeah, that's the Class 153 from Bristol, Temple Meads to Portishead. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe for more videos and hit the bell, and you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. And comment down below as well if you want to. But for this video, that's all for now, and thank you very much for watching. Peace.